The Middle East faces new instability from Yemen, driven by the Shia Islamist group, the Houthis or Ansar Allah. Originating from Saada, the Houthis have transformed from a local insurgency into a powerful militia, challenging Yemen's government and international order. Their sophisticated military capabilities and alliance with Iran have raised global concerns, particularly for the US and the UK. The Houthis' attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea threaten global trade and energy security. The conflict in Yemen has far-reaching implications, potentially igniting a wider regional conflict. The international community must counter the threat posed by the Houthis and their Iranian backers. To understand the Houthis' rise, one must delve into Yemen's complex history and politics. Yemen, plagued by poverty and instability, provided fertile ground for the Houthis, who emerged from the Zaidi Shia community. Founded by Hussein Badruddin al-Houthi in the 1990s, the group aimed to address the Zaidi community's marginalization. Hussein al-Houthi's death in 2004 sparked a 6-year insurgency, further destabilizing Yemen. The 2011 Arab Spring uprisings escalated into a civil war, with the Houthis seizing the opportunity to expand their influence. The collapse of the Yemeni state allowed the Houthis to establish themselves as a dominant force. The Houthis' rise is closely tied to their relationship with Iran, a connection that has grown stronger over the years. Iran, a Shia-majority nation with regional ambitions, sees the Houthis as a valuable ally in its quest to expand its influence across the Middle East. Iran views Yemen as a strategic gateway to the Arabian Peninsula and has supported the Houthis with weapons, training, and financial assistance. This support is part of Iran's broader strategy to counter Saudi influence in the region. This support has included sophisticated missiles, drones, and explosives, which have been smuggled into Yemen through various covert routes. These advanced weapons have significantly enhanced the Houthis' military capabilities, allowing them to launch more effective attacks against their adversaries. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has played a key role in training and equipping the Houthis, providing them with the skills needed to operate these advanced weapons systems. The Houthis' alliance with Iran has prolonged the conflict in Yemen and exacerbated regional tensions, drawing in neighboring countries and leading to a humanitarian crisis. The Houthis' use of Iranian-supplied weapons to attack Saudi Arabia and commercial shipping poses a direct threat to regional stability, disrupting global oil supplies and endangering international maritime routes. The international community must address Iran's destabilizing influence in Yemen, as it not only affects the region but also has far-reaching implications for global security and economic stability. The Houthis' attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden pose a grave threat to global trade and energy security. These attacks, involving sophisticated weaponry, have drawn condemnation and a robust response from maritime powers. The Red Sea is a crucial artery for global trade, handling millions of barrels of oil and goods daily. The Houthis have exploited the vulnerability of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, launching numerous attacks on commercial vessels. These attacks have disrupted global shipping, increased insurance premiums, and raised concerns about seafarers' safety. The Houthis' actions amount to acts of piracy and terrorism, undermining international law and jeopardizing civilian lives. The Houthis' attacks on shipping have disrupted global supply chains, driving up costs and fueling inflation. These disruptions have far-reaching consequences, affecting not just the immediate region but also the global economy. The ripple effects are felt in various sectors, from manufacturing to retail, as companies struggle to manage increased costs and delays. The Red Sea handles approximately 12% of global maritime trade, including essential goods like oil and food. This vital waterway is a lifeline for many economies, ensuring the steady flow of crucial commodities. Any disruption here can lead to shortages and price hikes worldwide, making the stability of this route paramount for global economic health. Houthi attacks have forced shipping companies to divert vessels, resulting in significant delays and increased transportation costs. These diversions not only extend delivery times, but also add to the operational expenses of shipping companies, which are then passed on to consumers. The longer routes and additional security measures required to navigate these waters safely further exacerbate the situation. These increased costs contribute to inflation, raising prices for consumers and disproportionately impacting low-income households. Families already struggling to make ends meet find it even harder to afford basic necessities. The rising prices of goods, from groceries to fuel, put additional strain on household budgets, leading to a decrease in overall quality of life. The attacks have also deterred investment and economic activity in the region, undermining trade and economic growth. Investors are wary of putting their money into an area fraught with instability, leading to a slowdown in development projects and economic initiatives. This lack of investment further hampers the region's ability to recover and grow, creating a vicious cycle of economic stagnation. The international community must recognize the economic threat posed by the Houthis and work to safeguard vital maritime trade routes. Coordinated efforts are essential to ensure the safety and security of these waters, which are crucial for maintaining global trade flows. By working together, nations can develop strategies to mitigate the risks and protect the economic interests of all. Collaborative efforts are needed to deter Houthi aggression and protect global trade. Joint naval operations, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic initiatives can help create a safer environment for maritime activities. By pooling resources and expertise, the international community can effectively counter these threats and ensure the continued flow of goods across the world's oceans. The US and UK have responded to Houthi attacks with a multifaceted strategy to deter aggression and protect maritime trade. Naval forces have been deployed to the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, conducting security patrols and escorting commercial vessels. Targeted airstrikes have been conducted against Houthi military assets to degrade their capabilities. These actions aim to create conditions conducive to a negotiated settlement. Diplomatic efforts, including sanctions on Houthi leaders, aim to isolate the group and pressure them to engage in peace talks. The international community must continue to support efforts to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The Houthis have increasingly targeted Israeli interests, viewing Israel as a legitimate target in their broader struggle. Israel has responded with military strikes, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic efforts to counter Houthi aggression. The Houthis have launched attacks on Israeli-linked targets, including ships and infrastructure. Israel's military actions aim to degrade the Houthis' capabilities and send a clear message against aggression. Intelligence sharing with the US and allies has been instrumental in disrupting Houthi operations. Diplomatic engagement seeks to limit Iran's influence and counter the Houthi threat. The international community must support efforts to counter Houthi aggression and promote regional stability. The conflict in Yemen has created a humanitarian catastrophe with millions facing starvation. The situation is dire, with families struggling to find food and clean water. Children are the most vulnerable, suffering from malnutrition and preventable diseases. Aid organizations are working tirelessly to provide relief, but the ongoing conflict makes it difficult to reach those in need. Disease and displacement, deep mistrust and animosity between the warring parties hinder peace efforts. The Houthis, emboldened by their successes, have shown little willingness to compromise. The Yemeni government, weakened by internal divisions, is reluctant to make concessions. Regional powers, including Saudi Arabia and Iran, have turned Yemen into a proxy battlefield. Years of conflict have shattered Yemen's infrastructure and economy, creating fertile ground for extremism. The international community must prioritize a political solution that addresses the grievances of all parties. Sustained diplomatic efforts are needed to bring the warring parties to the negotiating table. The future of Yemen depends on our collective efforts to find a lasting peace. The road to peace is fraught with challenges, but it is not impossible. With determination and cooperation, a brighter future for Yemen can be achieved. The world must not turn a blind eye to the suffering of the Yemeni people. It is our collective responsibility to support peace initiatives and humanitarian efforts. Only through unity and perseverance can we hope to end the cycle of violence and build a stable and prosperous Yemen. The conflict in Yemen represents one of the most pressing humanitarian and geopolitical challenges of our time. The plight of the Yemeni people demands our attention and action. We must educate ourselves about the crisis, amplify the voices of those suffering, and hold our leaders accountable. An end to the violence and a commitment to diplomacy are essential for a peaceful resolution. The international community must work towards a political solution that ensures a just and lasting peace. The choices we make today will determine Yemen's future. Let us choose hope and action over indifference.